as ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello there, welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Gift or Gete. In our major story, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) rules out conspiracy over ongoing distribution of permanent voter cards. Also in this program, Adamawa Governor Bala Ngilari is keen on testing his popularity at the party primaries despite the zoning arrangement laid down by the People's Democratic Party for the 2015 governorship election in the state. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, the commissioning of hospital in Ekiti State, laments the state of the nation. And outside Nigeria, the last two Americans serving lengthy prison sentences in North Korea, Kenneth Barr and Matthew Miller, arrive in the U.S. after release. Thanks for staying tuned with us. Now details of the headlines and other stories. A coalition of election observers have expressed concerns at the hitches noticed during the ongoing distribution of permanent voter cards in 12 states. It is also worried that the Independent National Electoral Commission has been silent in the face of complaints over the exercise. The Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room said in a statement that several registered voters have either been turned back in many states or found that INEC officials did not show up. It added that in states like Kano, Ogun and Plateau, there are fewer cards than the number of voters who showed up for their voter cards. The group also noted that inadequate information from INEC officials have heightened fears of disenfranchisement and confusion. It therefore wants the Commission to take urgent steps to rectify the situation. The Independent National Electoral Commission has denied suggestions that some registered persons have been delisted from the voter register. It also insists that all properly registered voters would get their permanent voter cards before 2015 general elections. INEC spokesman Kayode Idowu described what has been experienced in some states as temporary challenges, which the Commission is making efforts to rectify. On the alleged loss of records of 1.4 million voters in Lagos State, INEC acknowledged that it had 6.1 million voters on its register as at 2011, but noted that 82,892 of that figure have since been found to be multiple registrants. It added that there was loss of data and incomplete data affecting about 1 million records, mostly in 1,792 polling units that were identified and had since been made public before the present exercise. INEC insists that it is not a conspiracy as claimed by some notable figures in the state and disclosed that the problem would be rectified through the continuous voter register exercise from November 12 to 17. In spite of the zoning arrangements laid down by the People's Democratic Party in Adamawa State, Governor Bala Ngilari is keen on testing his popularity at the party primaries. He made his position known to journalists in Abuja shortly after returning the nomination form that was picked on his behalf by his supporters. The PDP had zoned the governorship to Adamawa Central, but the governor, who is from Adamawa North, is not bothered.
I have made substantial contributions. There are things you do, you don't begin to say it to the world. It's not about pleasing the world. We are on it. It's an ongoing process. It's not a one-day process. It's ongoing, and I can assure you, we are doing our best. We have our own internal mechanisms to resolve things. But I think, believe me, this is a no issue. This is a forgotten issue, as far as I know. But should there be anything, we have internal mechanisms to resolve our disputes. If we get to the bridge, we'll cross. But I'm aware that we've already crossed the bridge on this matter.
The former Vice President of Nigeria and presidential hopeful under the All Progressives Congress, Atiku Abubakar, has taken a swipe at the politics of stomach infrastructure as practiced by the PDP. Speaking in Ire-Ekiti, Atiku, who described Nigeria as a sick nation, says priority should be placed on infrastructural development instead of stomach infrastructure, as a promised free education at all levels if voted into power as president. Rashid has the details of this report presented from our studios.
In the commissioning of a healthcare facility at Ire-Ekiti in Ekiti State, the former vice president makes case for what he describes as infrastructure development over stomach infrastructure.
Certainly Nigeria is not healthy. I mean, whether economically, whether, security-wise. So, I mean, certainly Nigeria is not healthy.
What can be done to salvage?
The only thing that can be done to salvage is Nigerians now have an opportunity to bring about change. And they should seize the opportunity and bring about the change by voting in.
That he has benefited immensely from Nigeria, promised free education at all levels if voted into power as president come 2015.
Nigeria has done everything for me. But for free education, I will not be what I am today. But for free education, I will not have been vice president. But for free education, you will not even see me here. Therefore, for free education, ladies and gentlemen, my brothers and sisters, don't compromise on it.
Atiku, who has been very critical of the Goodluck Jonathan administration, did not spare the nation's health sector as it took another run on the state of the nation.
And I believe the people of this state, Ekiti, surely you don't need stomach infrastructure. I want to ask you 2 questions. Will you forgo education for stomach infrastructure? Will you forgo health care for stomach infrastructure? Will you forgo infrastructural development for stomach infrastructure?
Observers are keenly watching now the likes of Atiku, who has been accused in some quarters of contributing largely to the problem facing Nigeria, will fare come 2015.
There is an Ebola virus
Meanwhile, a
epidemic
call
in some
has
West
been made
African
to
countries.
government at all levels and politicians alike to save the Nigerian health sector from imminent collapse. This was made by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Aminu Tambuwal, who led other federal lawmakers to Ire-Ekiti in Ekiti State, where one of their own, Bimbo Daramola, held his 3rd account of stewardship to the people with a donation of a 32-bed ultra-modern hospital for his constituency. Here again is Rashid in this report presented from our studios.
Say is wealth, but with the larger concentration of Nigerians dwelling in the rural areas, access to basic health care and facilities have been a major problem. Speaker of the House of Representatives Aminu Tambuwal, while commissioning a 32-bed ultra-modern hospital built by another member of the House, Bimbo Daramola, as a mark of his 3rd annual account of stewardship, admonished governments at all levels to place top priority on the nation's healthcare sector and described the hospital project as a laudable initiative.
It's a very, very impressive investment in the healthcare system of this federal constituency of Ekiti State and of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I commend him for this initiative.
The donor of the hospital, however, chose to speak on what informed the project.
I have a personal choice and commitment to Almighty God that I will give an account of every authority God has given to me. Every authority comes with responsibility. God gave me the opportunity to represent these people, and I must be able to account for the time that I've had authority. And that's what we've been able to do with this story.
Another member of the lower house, Bamidele Fakparusi, laments the inability of politicians to embark on people-oriented projects and called for a change of attitude.
Our healthcare system still needs a lot of investment, and this is part of the investment we are talking about. Having this facility in a local environment like this is a lesson for all politicians. It's not, politicians are used to building hotels. Less of us, I want to categorize myself among them, think in this line that there is need for investment in our healthcare system.
The politic in motivating the hospital donation, according to some political observers, is what Daramola may not have told the people as reason behind the project at this time, especially ahead of the 2015 elections. But for others, it is better late than never.
You're watching CoreTV Primetime News. Tax experts explain its importance to the development of Nigeria's economy. Find out these in details after this timeout. Stay with us.
There is an Ebola virus epidemic in some West African countries. The Nigerian government wants you to be aware and watch out against the spread of Ebola in your community. Help keep our country safe and watch out for severe cases of fever, headaches, diarrhea, chest and abdominal pain, sore throat, cough, red eyes and bleeding from the eyes, ears and nose, especially when these symptoms are found in persons coming into Nigeria from other West African countries. Protect yourself. Wash your hands regularly with soap and running water or use a hand sanitizer. Avoid contact with the blood, urine, feces or saliva of animals like bats, monkeys, gorillas, chimpanzees or infected persons. The Ebola virus is deadly. Don't catch it, don't spread it. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
One continent, 54 countries, over 2,000 languages, but united with similar interests. As news breaks, we give you in-depth analysis around Africa every Monday on CoreTV News.
Nigerians are expected to seek out the best. 2 words to describe the activity. The Yoruba Unity Forum is conducted.
Be the first to know. From the north, south, east, west and around Africa. We break the news. Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are CoreTV News.
Welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
A 24-hour news station. You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV. Leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, a quick reminder of some of our major headlines. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, rules out conspiracy over ongoing distribution of permanent voter cards. Adamawa Governor Balangileri is keen on testing his popularity at the party primaries despite zoning arrangements laid down by the People's Democratic Party for the 2015 governorship election in the state. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar at the commissioning of hospital in Ekiti State laments the state of the nation. Or you can also reach us on our social media platform on Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News, Twitter @CoreTV News NG, and on YouTube it's youtube.com/CoreTV_News. Tax experts have blamed poor practice of taxation in Nigeria on inadequate education about its importance and the mismanagement of tax fund. According to key practitioners in the industry, revenue generated from tax can sustain Nigeria like oil revenue if properly managed. Amotayalo has more in this report.
With dwindling revenue generation to sustain developmental works in the country, adequate payment of tax appears to be the solution. The Vice President's Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, Tedros Shomori, says tax laws are too complex and shield Nigerians from compliance.
Can also translate some of the tax laws because the people that are selling the informal sector, many of them they cannot read. So maybe you need to translate some of those laws into vernacular, Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, make it very easy for them. But the awareness must be there. Then the tax money should be well spent.
Putting the compliance level of Nigerians to tax payments at 30% with hope of an improvement, past President Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, Razak Qadri, says government should be more trustworthy in maximizing taxpayers' money.
A major problem that we have in the tax system right now is the fact that people tend to, bring up tax issues without having cognizance of the fact that it has to pass through the assembly, National Assembly and State Assembly. And even in the case of the local government, it still has to pass through the the State Assembly. But what we find out is that people start bring out tax laws just maybe from their bedroom or whatever. And unfortunately, Nigeria find it difficult to even take these people to court. We need to really start asking for our rights. Once we start that, then I think we'll just be paying what we're not supposed to actually pay for.
Stating the readiness of the Society of Women in Taxation to disseminate adequate tax education, the national chairperson of the society, Dinah Rose Ajayi, is of the view that culture of tax payments can be improved if the government gives its citizens enough reason to be committed.
We in Sweets, as women, we are nation builders, we are home builders. We hope to take this back to our houses and beyond to ensure that the culture of paying tax like you have in other advanced countries is already something we imbibe with, not something we are forced to do.
If you do not empower people, you cannot talk about improvement in revenue. So these are the objectives of society, to also help in empowering people, particularly the less privileged, the downtrodden in the society, the vulnerable ones in the society. Ours is to touch their life through education and through empowerment.
The experts believe that the current slump in global oil price is a warning sign that there is need for government to take taxation seriously while shifting away from over-reliance on oil. Omotayo, CoreTV News, Lagos.
It's CoreTV Primetime News. We take another break and return with business, sports and stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, our 24-hour news station.
There is an Ebola virus epidemic in some West African countries. The Nigerian government wants you to be aware and watch out against the spread of Ebola in your community. Help keep our country safe and watch out for severe cases of fever, headaches, diarrhea, chest and abdominal pain, sore throat, cough, red eyes, and bleeding from the eyes, ears, and nose, especially when these symptoms are found in persons coming into Nigeria from other West African countries. Protect yourself. Wash your hands regularly with soap and running water, or use a hand sanitizer. Avoid contact with the blood, urine, feces, or saliva of animals like bats, monkeys, gorillas, chimpanzees, or infected persons. The Ebola virus is deadly. Don't catch it. Don't spread it. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
One continent, 54 countries, over 2,000 languages, but united with similar interests. As news breaks, we give you in-depth analysis around Africa every Monday on CoreTV News.
Welcome back. Now to business. Having been elected as a full member of the World Federation of Exchanges, WFE, the council members of the Nigerian Stock Exchange has expressed optimism that the NSE will be the largest stock exchange in Africa. The president of the NSE, Igboje Imokwede, who says Nigerian will stand with the developed world, having gone through the journey for 14 years, is proud that the benefit of being a member of the WFE will enable foreign and private investors to invest and thrive in an enabling environment.
It confirms the Nigerian Stock Exchange conformity to very high international standards, which of course you know is a precondition for attracting foreign investment, particularly foreign institutional portfolio managers. World Federation of Exchange member exchanges are tasked with subscribing to the World Federation of Exchanges qualifying characteristics, which detail the standards that members should adhere to. In other words, they demand a stronger regulatory environment, and by regulation we speak not just about extant regulation, but also self-regulation. In other words, the degree and extent to which the members of the exchange, market participants, conduct themselves. And therefore, we are subscribing to World Federation of Exchange standards, not domestic standards per se. Full membership, of course, gives us access to international portfolio flows that filter through WFE members. And of course, we think internally that it validates the transformation programs that have been pursued by the exchange since 2011, and it validates the leadership of the Nigerian government, particularly as it relates to an enabling environment and a supportive environment for the private sector to thrive.
The NSE is the third African stock exchange to be granted full federation membership status. The WFE's vote for full membership came through a series of assessments. This membership status reflects the exchange's commitment to implementing the highest standards of international best practices. The Debt Management Office, DMO, says it plans to raise 65 billion naira worth in sovereign bonds with maturities of 3 to 20 years at an auction on November 12th. It will auction 10 billion worth of 3 years bond, 30 million naira of 10-year debt notes, and 25 billion naira of 20-year bonds next Wednesday using the Dutch auction system. All the bonds are reopening of previously issued debt notes. Successful bidders will pay a price corresponding to the yield to maturity bid that clears the volume being auctioned, plus any accrued interest on the instrument. Nigerian bonds are expected to attract good demand from local pension funds and other assets managers. Yields on the benchmark bond 2014, however, closed at 12.69% compared with 12.56% last week. Indeed, there are risks to growth, but not scary. These were the words of Xi Jinping at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation APEC Summit. APEC is expected to be the venue to announce several international deals among Asia-Pacific nations. On Sunday, Xi pledged $40 billion to improve infrastructure and trade links with other nations in the region. The two-day APEC summit opens on Monday. China's economy has had a tough year, held back by a concentration in the property market, slower consumer demand, and unsteady exports. Annual growth slowed to 7.3% in the third quarter of 2014, the weakest since the height of the global financial crisis. Today, Xi and President Vladimir Putin strengthened their energy links when the two signed a memorandum of understanding on the Western gas route from Russia to China. Under Sunday's agreement, the two countries would explore plans to transport gas via fields in Western Siberia. As part of deals, China National Oil and Gas Exploration and Development are taking a 10% in Vancroft. And now to sports. Super Eagles midfield gem Ogenyi Onazi set his sights on victory in Congo over the host in next weekend's Nations Cup qualifier, but has stated that there are conditions to be met if victory must come Nigeria's way next Saturday. Onazi, who was expected in Nigeria on Sunday night, said Nigerians desirous of the Nations Cup ticket must all join hands and pray that the football community must be united to achieve success. Preparations for the Make or Break Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against Congo-Brazzaville in Point Nord is expected to be kick-started on Monday following the arrival of invited Nigerian League stars to Abuja on Saturday after a highly impressive 1-0 win over Ghana in the Maiden Restoration Cup at the ultra-modern Akwa Ibom International Stadium last Friday. The players who came into camp with head coach Stephen Keshi, his assistant and other members of staff of the national team are goalkeeper Chigozie Agbim, Warri Wolves skipper Azubike Egwekwe, Solomon Kwambe, soccer of the epoch-making goal in Uyo, Udwak, Nasarawa United, Tony Ejomari, Christian Osaguna, Bolahon Salami, and newcomer Kingsley Sokari. Swansea came from behind to beat Arsenal 2-1 and climb above the Gunners in the Premier League table. Bafetimi Komis, on as a substitute for Wilfred Bonney, made an immediate impact to power in Jefferson Montero's cross over his first Premier League goal to earn the home side the point. The Swans had trailed to Alexis Sanchez's 63rd minute effort but got back on terms. It was another collapse from Arsene Wenger's men, coming just 5 days after the Champions League setback against Anderlecht when they led 3-0, only to be pulled back to 3-3 at the Emirates Stadium. And now, story outside Nigeria. The last two Americans serving lengthy prison sentences in North Korea have arrived in the U.S. after the Asia-Pacific nation freed them following a secret mission by the U.S. intelligence chief James Clapper. Kenneth Barr and Matthew Miller arrived around 5 GMT on Sunday at Joint Base Lewis Marquardt in Washington State. Barr disembarked the plane with a suitcase, then smiled as he hugged and embraced family and friends, followed by Miller, who was also greeted by family members. Barr and Miller had both been sentenced to several years of hard labor for crime against North Korea. U.S. President Barack Obama said on Saturday he was grateful for North Korea's decision to release the 2 Americans. And just before we close, a recap of our major stories. We told you that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has ruled out conspiracy over ongoing distribution of permanent voter cards. We also brought you a report that Adamawa Governor Balangilari is keen on testing his popularity at the party primaries despite zoning arrangement laid down by the People's Democratic Party for the 2015 governorship election in the state. Finally, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar at the commissioning of a hospital in Ekiti State has lamented the state of the Nigerian nation. That's our show for tonight. On behalf of the entire crew, I am Gift or Gete, wishing you a wonderful night rest. Good night.